Our next coach is Monmouth head coach Kevin Callahan. Coach, are you on yet?
I am, Mark. Good morning.
Hello, Coach. Good morning to you. Hope practice went well. You can open up, talk about how camp went for you. Some stars that may emerge that we didn't see last year that we expect to see. We'll start taking questions. Talk about one of them.
Sure. I thought we had a very good preseason camp. Our guys were ready to go and, very hungry and highly motivated to prove on, where we were a year ago. I think we were capable of playing some better football than we did in 2015. And I think, as we matured and become a little bit of an older team, what I saw in preseason was a team that, I think better prepared to handle crucial situations, critical areas of the football game. So hopefully that will continue to play out as we start the season here. I was happy. Our receiving corps is fairly young, but one of the guys kind of emerged in that group was a guy by the name of Devin Phelps. Saw a little bit of action as a freshman a year ago. He's demonstrated in camp he can be a guy we can go to, a guy that we can rely on, and certainly adds a little bit more firepower to that position. And in the tight end position, we obviously lost Hakeem Ballard graduation, and the emergence of Zach Babel and Jake Powell and Gabe Hemminghouse are three guys we think are going to give us some quality play at that position. So those are a few guys that I thought really stepped up during the course of the camp, and as we head into the season, I'm excited to see what they can do. I think from an offensive standpoint, Cody Williams will enter his second year as a college football player or a college starter. And, while he made progress last year, there were some ups and downs. I think what we've seen, what I've seen so far is a much more mature quarterback, somebody whose game slowed down a little bit more, somebody who's been capable of handling the ups and downs within a football game to a better extent than he did a year ago. And I'm really excited to do and really witness the growth that he's made. The good thing is that he's surrounded by most of our statistical leaders. 2015, Levon Chaney and Zach Welch both return at running back. In the receiver position, we've got Darren Ambush returning and Reggie White returning. So I think most of the statistical leaders from the offense a year ago do return, and I think that's going to help Cody out as well. The offensive line was a position where we graduated 3 of the 5 starters, and I'm very happy with the progress they've made and are continuing to make. You're never quite sure how that's going to gel and how they're going to come together, and I'm fairly happy with what I'm seeing there at this. And then over on the defensive side of the ball, we returned, both of our starting defensive ends from a year ago. We lost very early. Darnell Leslie missed the entire season. Zach Talley only played in 3 ball games before he was lost for the season injury. And now that they're both healthy, that adds a great deal of depth, not just the defensive end position, but also the defensive line. On the inside, we return Demetrius Smith for his 5th year, and he gives us kind of a fairly good run stopper on the interior. Linebacker position, Peyton Minnick returned to the middle linebacker spot a year ago, and last year we played 2 freshmen for the majority of the season, and Trey Nelson and Diego Zuniga. They both returned at the outside spot. So while it's still a relatively young position, I do at least think it's a somewhat experienced position. And then on the back end, Mike Field leads a group that was very young a year ago, and that I think is maturing. They've become a much more formidable unit than they were in 2015, and I'm looking for continued growth in that area. And in the special teams area, in the kicking game, Matt White, our place kicker and punter from a year ago, and he returns to handle both of those chores this year. So all in all, I'm very upbeat, very positive about where we are, and looking forward to start the season.
All right, Coach. This time we'll start taking questions for Monmouth head coach Kevin Callahan. Ask the question, press star 1 on your phone at any time. Daily, top browser, click raise hand. I'll wait for the question to fill up. Coach, talk about Lehigh opponent on Saturday.
Well, Well, Lehigh's a team that's a perennial Patriot League power. They're a team that, has quite a bit of experience going to the FCS playoffs. They're a team that's extremely explosive offensively, and they return all of their offensive weapons in 2015. The quarterback, in the third year as a starter. They've got a talented receiver core, and they've got a young running back who was a 1,000-yard plus rusher a year ago. So, they're a team that puts up a lot of points, score quick, and had a lot of games in the 40s, and low 50s last year. So it's going to be a challenge for our defense to slow them down. And on the defensive side, their front seven are very physical, very talented. They do a lot of different looks, and they make it difficult for you. And they'll be going against an offensive line that has 3 starters in it, so that'll be quite a challenge for us up front.
All right, Coach, we're going to move to some questions for you. The first one, I believe, is from Eddie. Over.
Good morning, Ed.
Morning. How are you, Coach?
Good, thanks.
Coach, quick question, and obviously, as Mark led right in with opening up at Lehigh, and I think that's going to be a theme that we talk about a lot this year at other schools, and just the challenges of the schedule with the Monmouth Stadium coming next year. And it's a hard enough schedule as is, great opponents on it, but what maybe some of the challenges will be? First 3 away from home, and obviously another challenging schedule for your team this year.
Well, the obvious thing I think that everybody knows at this point is going to play 8 games on the road this year, and playing on the road is always challenging. But to play on the road 8 times, I think, adds a little bit extra to that. And you mentioned, I think our schedule is a very difficult one. It's one where we're going to be challenged each and every week. And as a team, we've just got to be able to maintain our focus, be able to play through adversity, be able to go out and play our game regardless of where it is. Good news in all of this is that we'll have a brand new stadium to open 2017 season with. So, I guess there is a silver lining with having to play so many games on the road.
Coach, just one quick follow-up to that, and obviously, starting, as Mark said, at Lehigh, it's always a challenge, but to have another FBS opponent on the schedule this season in a couple of weeks at Penn State, I know coaches can't look ahead, but we can look ahead as media people, and just what that means for the development and the further progress of the program.
That's something that the players in our program excited about, that they want play an FBS team, something that we are going to do on an annual basis. But as you said, we can't look ahead. We've got our hands full here in one, and that's really where our focus is.
Coach, appreciate it. Obviously, Mark, thank you very much. Looking forward to a great year.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you, Eddie. And Coach, next question for you are from Josh Spin of Asbury Park.
Morning, Cal. How are you? Good, thank you.
Good. Curious, how much people that Kent has grown up from ago, and how difficult it was that sport?
Well, first of all, it wasn't a difficult decision. I think that last year we had 2 freshman quarterbacks that were our number 1 and our number 2, and I think what we've seen is just steady and positive, methodical growth by both of them. Kenji's a talented player, and he showed that he has the ability and the physical skills to be a quality quarterback, and I think he performed very well throughout spring practice. He did a good job when he was here this summer, and his preseason camp was very productive. So, I feel very confident in his ability to lead the football team if it were ever necessary, and his ability to move our offense.
How important was kind of in terms of trying to bring him on the road and things like that? How that process was and bring him on the road and all those?
Well, I think as you're, with your quarterbacks, with all the young players, you want to expose them to situations that they can learn from and experiences that they can fall back on at later times, draw from those experiences to help them perform. And, the thought process, having Kenji with us every step of the way in 2015 was, although he might not have been actually the one taking the snap or throwing the ball, he was there, he witnessed the experience, he understands the flow of the games, he understands what needs to be done in order to be successful, and I think being there and being a part of it will help him in all those areas.
And if I can speak in one more, last and Lehigh have all decided by 10 or less. Last got announced a couple of back. But the last 12, 14 seconds. There's something about matchup get together that makes it.
Well, first of all, I think it's a good game. It's a game against two fairly even teams. I think the last three meetings with them have reflected that. Both teams are going to go play hard. Both teams are going to play the full game right to the very end. And last time we did pull the game out in the closing seconds. The year before, or time before that, they beat us in the last minute of the game. So it's been one of those types of games, in each of the last three meetings. So I would expect nothing but the same.
Thanks, Cal. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Josh, I'm going to wrap up with a couple more questions before you want to ask all the coaches. Obviously, that media join us throughout the morning. May not have heard the other response. Across Southern's performance, national SM opener, kind of how you're able to use that to your advantage for the team and overall impact.
Well, I want to credit correctly, Coach Chadwell and his staff team. I thought they did an exceptional job in that game against an outstanding opponent. And I think, not only did they represent the Big South in a very, very positive way, but I think they also showed the nation, the level of football that's played in the Big South and the quality of the players the Big South has. I think that's going to do us all good. Obviously, I'm sure Coach, they would have liked to come out on the other end of that score, but I thought it was a heck of a football game. I thought they did a great job, and the conference it needs to be. I think we're all very proud of them.
My last question for you, more on the lighter side, kind of related to the men's basketball team with their bench players and their celebratory fun that they had. Have you noticed any of your team are doing some of the same things?
I haven't noticed any of that yet, to be honest with you, Mark. But the basketball team, and their bench this year got a lot of great publicity, and I think it was great for the university, great for our school. I haven't noticed any of it on the football bench yet, but if I do, I'll certainly let you know.
Very good. Well, good luck Saturday at Lehigh. Thanks for joining us. Talk to you next.
Thank you, Mark.
All right.